Sure, okay, that's, I guess, technically an integration, but that doesn't mean the call logs. That doesn't mean the notes log. That doesn't mean the next task reminder gets set automatically. That doesn't mean any of these advanced automation happens. That covers none of that stuff. That's like basic meat and potatoes. I wouldn't even call it meat and potatoes. That's just the meat. And for a carnivore like me, maybe that's okay. But if you're trying to build a business, just a plate of meat isn't going to work. All right, so you're looking for a dialer. Typically, that means you're thinking about what your agents use to call now, maybe what calling solutions you've used in the past, general telephony platforms out there. What you're probably not thinking about is your CRM. But actually, in this video, I want to talk about why you should be thinking about your CRM. In particular, your CRM integration with the dialer that you're looking to buy. And here's why. Right now, your reps spend about half their time doing exactly what you hired them to do. Getting on calls, talking to potential customers, closing deals, building confidence in your product, and that's great. But the other half of their time, they spend doing really administrative tasks after and between the calls that you have them making. That means that after a call ends, where they got the prospect excited, they've done the discovery work, they know why they're interested in buying your product, they then go, they end the call, and they commence to doing the things you have not hired them to do. Skills that they're probably not that good at, in fact, and things that they probably hate doing most of their time. They're going in, they're having to say, okay, I spoke to so-and-so and we talked about, shoot, what did we talk about? Our product, that's right. And I asked them how long their company's been in business. And I asked them their competitors, what did they say their competitors were? And you're trying to type all this into the CRM and keep notes and set the next task reminder for when to call them back and put like your rating in there about how likely the deal is to close and when you think their trial's ending, all this administrative stuff. Hopefully the rep does a half decent job of that. Often I'll tell you what really happens. They get done, they make some quick sketches of the notes into the CRM because they're like, I remember all this stuff. Let me get back to my next call because that's what I get paid to do. That's what I'm good at. That's what's going to make my commission check bigger. And then maybe they get back to that deal at the end of the day. Oftentimes they never get back to it in the CRM. And then you as a manager look in and you're like, what are these scribble notes in the CRM? How do you know what they talked about? How do you know what the next steps are? Why are all these qualification fields blank? And it's going to aggravate you as a manager. It's not going to give you the data you need to make business decisions. And as a rep, they go back to that CRM and they themselves are like, shoot, what the heck did we talk about? Because typically by the time the next call comes around, they've forgotten a lot of the nuances of the conversation. And so then you as a manager are stuck in this battle of trying to convince your reps to do the things that you know they're not very good at and you know they dislike, but is useful to you as a manager. And they as a rep are trying to fight back against it because they don't get paid to do that stuff. That's not making their commission check any better. What's the solution to that? Well, the solution to that is a telephony system, a calling and texting solution that integrates with the CRM. What does that mean? That means that at the end of the call, the rep looks at that CRM log for the call, for the deal, and it's already filled out. All the information that they ask is there as a transcript. The call recording exists right inside of there so that they can go back and listen to it anytime they want. If you're really tricky and you've used some advanced technology like you have with Kixie, maybe even some of the fields within the CRM are filled out automatically as you go, that kind of stuff. So, okay, first things first, you're like, great, I found a telephony system and they say that they integrate with my CRM. Fantastic. Job's done, right? Job's not done. I hate to break it to you because integration, while it sounds like a black or white concept and you'll see it pitched that way on various websites, oh yeah, we integrate with that CRM. But what does that really mean? I've seen things as limited as like, oh, you can go into CRM and where there's a phone number, there's a click to call icon and you can click on that icon and make the call. That's how we integrate with that CRM. But sure, okay, that's, I guess, technically an integration, but that doesn't mean the call logs. That doesn't mean the notes log. That doesn't mean the next task reminder gets set automatically. That doesn't mean any of these advanced automation happens. That covers none of that stuff. That's like basic meat and potatoes. I wouldn't even call it meat and potatoes. That's just the meat. And for a carnivore like me, maybe that's okay. But if you're trying to build a business, just a plate of meat isn't going to work. Like you need more than just the telephone being a clickable icon inside the CRM for it to be considered what I would call a true integration. So what you want to look for in a platform is something like Kixie, and there are other platforms out there too. And when they say they integrate with your CRM, what do they mean? Well, at a basic level, sure, click the call. The phone number pops up, you can click it and make a call. That's great. More than that though, the call, as soon as it's done, is logging right to that contact or that deal deal in the CRM. So that way, when you go back to that deal or that contact, you know exactly what the conversation was about, you know when it occurred, how long it was occurred, and you can go back and refer to that conversation and make notes from it. Second, any notes you make in the dialer are logging right to the CRM. That way, the rep doesn't have to go back into CRM, look up the contact, look up the deal page, go add note, then start typing a note, then click save. No, just as they're on the call, they can take notes right in the dialer, click save, and it's going to save, boom, right to the CRM automatically in the correct deal, in the correct contact. Also, optimally, that call is being transcribed. That way you don't even have to go back and listen to the whole call to find out what you spoke about. The transcript of the call is logging right there in the CRM. So that way you can go and look at the contact, your rep can go and look at the contact and see all the information that's there. Fantastic. That to me is a good integration. And you want a great integration, let's take it a step further. In that CRM, when you go to create, let's say an automation, like I'll give you a great example. A rep ends a call, right? And the prospect isn't interested. Maybe it says call back in 2 months. There's two ways to do this. The old school way, where you go, I'm gonna mark the deal lost, and then I'm gonna go and take the deal and drag it to a lost stage, and then I'm gonna go with my Google Calendar, and I'm gonna create a reminder, and I'm gonna set the reminder for 2 months, and the reminder I'm gonna say, okay, make a call to this person, and then I'm gonna save that in my Google Calendar, and I'm gonna set an alert based on that calendar to fire off for that day. Like, that's using technology, but that's a lot of work still for a rep to do when all they have to do is log an outcome in a platform like Kixie and a workflow automation you've built with Kixie action steps in it, or whatever telephony platform you're using. That action step is deal is marked lost in terms of outcome. Automatically, deal moves to a lost stage. Automatically, a next step motion is set into place inside the CRM to call that person back. And you schedule a date for that callback. You want to take it a step further, maybe even fires off that auto call on the date 2 months from now when the prospect said to follow back up about potentially moving forward. Now that's an integration. And for those of you who are business owners who are listening to this, so for a rep, great. As a rep, you've given that rep back 40%, 50% of their time back to make more calls, get more deals in the pipeline, close more revenue for your business, and all those administrative tasks you've taken care of automatically. But as a business owner, there's a whole nother level to this that's important for you. And for reps listening to this, I hate to bring this up, but as a business owner, one of the things you don't want is for your reps to own that relationship with your leads. Typically, businesses never start off thinking about this. They find this out the hard way. I'll tell you what happens. They hire great sales reps, and those sales reps build great relationships with these prospects. Sometimes the prospects buy now, sometimes they're willing to buy later in the sales cycle, and life goes on. And as you build your business, more and more reps build more and more deep relationships with these prospects. And then what happens? Reps move on. We're in sales. Let's be clear about something. Attrition is real. Either forced attrition because the reps aren't hitting quota, or unforced attrition because they go and find other opportunities. And when that happens, and trust me, it will happen, the worst thing that can happen to you as a business owner is these leads who you've spent all this money buying these lead lists, or with the marketing content, or reaching out to or brand recognition, all those are really investments you've made as a business owner to secure these leads. And what happens? The leads leave with the salesperson because the salesperson owns that relationship and not you. So when you want to go back and patch up the relationship or keep those clients on board or sell new products into them, well, guess what? All the information about that lead and the conversations that have been had and what their business objectives are and the things they care most about, where does that exist? In the head of the rep who just left your company. And now you're in trouble. Now all the money you've spent on commission to close the lead, all the money you've spent to generate the lead in the first place, walks out the door along with your rep. And it puts you in a bad position, and it makes that lead very vulnerable to being resold if that rep were to go to a competitor. And let's be honest, that's the easiest transition for a rep to make, isn't to a completely different segment, it's to a direct competitor with yours in your same segment. So let's just recap all of this. By having a dialer that integrates with your CRM, we want to first make sure that that integration is what we consider a true integration, not minimum viable product, like you click on the link and it calls the number. Like all the call gets tracked and recorded automatically in the CRM as the rep goes. That the call recording gets logged there, that the call recording is transcribed and logged there, that you want to take it a step further, that automations can fire off, and the telephony system like Kixie has workflow actions inside their workflow builder so that you can take advantage of all the administrative stuff being automated away so your reps can focus on what they're really good at, which is speaking to customers and closing deals. Secondarily, you want to make sure that you do this not just for the benefit of your reps so your reps can close more business, but for the benefit of you as a business owner. so that way, when that rep leaves, or if that rep leaves, you own that lead. You own the communication between the rep and the lead. You can pick up that conversation right where it left off, or if you hire a new replacement rep, they can jump in, look at all the previous notes, all the previous transcripts, build that relationship right back, not from ground zero, but from where the last rep left it off. And you can make sure to preserve all the money and resources you've spent in getting that lead to whatever stage that lead is at when that rep leaves the business. If you'd like to learn more about how Kixie does all of these things with not only existing CRMs that we integrate with, but in addition, custom CRMs that you might have built yourself in-house, go ahead, go to www.kixie.com, sign up for a free 7-day trial, and we will walk you through all the stages of our integration, how it plays out, that you guys get a taste of it yourselves and see if it works for your business. And for anyone subscribing to this, if you like geeking out on telephony information like this, on CRM information, on sales information in general to kind of up your game in the age of technology where all of this is changing so fast, then please look below, subscribe below, and check out our other videos. And I look forward to talking to you about the next topic.